This is a review of the 2023 Cyrusher Kommoda electric bike. Now, I've wanted an electric bike for the last 5 years or so. The only thing stopping me from getting one was the cost. A decent bike a few years back was over $2,500. The cost of electric motors and batteries, however, have dropped pretty dramatically over the last few years, making new bikes a lot more affordable. This one retails for $1,699. It features a 750 watt electric motor along with a 14 amp hour battery. Now, I did not buy this bike. Cyrusher sent me this bike for a review. They're not the first electric bike company to contact me, however. In the last 2 years or so, I've probably been contacted by about 20 companies, but they either made what looked like cheap bikes, or the bikes had bad reviews, or more often than not, they required me to only say positive things and forbid me from saying anything negative about their product, and I was unwilling to do that. Cyrusher, however, had no such requirements. They simply wanted an honest review, so they let me pick out the color, and then they shipped me this bike. Now, the first thing I noticed when I opened up the box were the quality of the tools that came with the bike. Usually you get like a really cheap open-end wrench along with an Allen key or two. This bike came with a complete set of Allen keys and a nice little holder along with a decent open-end wrench, so we were off to a good start there. The assembly was very simple. The instructions were read to me by my 8-year-old son. He had no problems understanding them, and we got this thing put together in about a half hour. Alright guys, let's start off by getting this bike all set up. Although it comes with an assembly manual, it does not come with a quick start manual, but that is probably because it's so straightforward. You really only got one switch to worry about. On that switch you've got 3 buttons. You have a power button, an up, and a down. To turn it on, you simply hold the power button for a couple of seconds, it fires right up, and then you use the up and the down to increase or decrease your pedal assist. The default setting is 1, it goes from 1 to 5. There is an adjustability with that. You can make it go from 1 to 3, or you can make it go from 1 to 9. I'll show you how to do that in a second. If you want to change the display, you simply hold down the power button and the up button at the same time. To go back, you simply hold the power button down. If you would like to get into the advanced menu, you simply hold both the up and the down button at the same time. Once you're in that advanced menu, there's a bunch of features that I don't quite understand. A lot of them are based around the electronics of the motor. The only ones that I played around with were the speed limiter, which I removed, and then I increased the power to the motor at start because I wanted to have as aggressive of a launch as possible. The front suspension is adjustable as well. You have a preload on the left and then compression on the right. I played around with that just a little bit in my front yard. Once I got it dialed in as close as I thought I needed it, I decided to hit the road and head to my local gym because it is about 2 miles to that gym, and I figured it'd be a perfect test ride because it is mostly all hard-packed dirt on a trail that is alongside our main road. Now you'll notice I don't pedal this bike very much. The 750 watt motor is plenty to launch it from a stop and keep it going at a pretty good pace. The only portion of this entire trip that I had any issues with, there was one downhill spot from the street. It didn't look so bad. I didn't realize there were so many rocks and boulders in the way, and it's a little bit steeper than I was expecting, so I probably wouldn't have gone down this in like a normal fat tire cruiser, but I figured, hey, I'm wearing a helmet and this is a test, so let's see what it's got, and it was fine. It had no issues with that at all. You can tell that the bike isn't made to be like a hardcore mountain bike. It is definitely more of the cruiser side with the ability to go on the dirt, but hey, that is exactly what I've got around me, so it's perfect for what I'm using it for. Next up was a nice little straight section in the dirt where I was able to test the top speed. It went up to 26 miles per hour and it held there pretty good until the road started to go up an incline. I do feel like I could break 30 miles per hour if I was on pavement and giving it just a little bit of pedaling, so I plan on trying that a little bit later. So all in all, it was a great first test. We had no issues and it was faster than I expected, which is always a plus. Alright, up next is the top speed test in the pavement. I had the speed limiter off, I had it in 7th gear, I was pedaling not like a crazy person, but a good, nice little stride. I got it up to 30.2 miles per hour going in one direction, and then on the way back I got it up to 29.6, so either it is slightly uphill on the way back or I was just a little bit tired. The next thing I looked at was how much power it was consuming and what my expected range would be. Now, I don't like to run lithium batteries until they're totally drained. I like to keep them in that 20 to 80% charge, but based on everything that it was reading on the little screen there, it does look like I would average about 32 to 36 miles to a charge if I ran it from full all the way to empty, and that's given the type of riding that I do, which so far has been almost entirely dirt and with the accelerator pegged the entire way and only pedaling maybe 5 to 10% of the time. The range rating from Cyrusher is 30 to 50 miles per charge. That seems totally reasonable. I do think that you could get 50 miles to a charge if you were just casually pedaling and you were only on pavement and there weren't, too many uphills or downhills. Alright guys, so I've had this bike for a week now. So far, I absolutely love this thing. I initially thought that I was mostly going to use this bike with my son because he has a 14 mile per hour electric dirt bike that this thing is a perfect companion for, so we zip around on the yard every day with that. But I've also found myself riding to the gym every single time with the bike because it's way more fun than taking a car. The mileage that I'm getting is still in that 30 to 35 miles per charge range. It's again a little hard to tell because I don't let it drain all the way. I'm sure I could get a lot more, but I am just hard packed dirt and full throttle everywhere I go with minimal pedal. Now, after testing the Kommoda, I decided to go on the Cyrusher website to take a look at their other models to see which bike I would have bought if I were using my own money for this. I really like the XF690 Maxxis folding bike because it would be nice to fold this bike in half so that I could throw it in my car. The only real downside to that is that it is not a step-through bike, so it would be a little bit harder for my wife to ride it. It does have the same motor and a slightly bigger battery, and right now it's on sale, so it's actually $300 cheaper. I do think that that is an outgoing model though, and I think it's being replaced by the Bandit, which has a larger battery. There's another bike that I like called the Trax. It has taller tires and a 52 volt motor. I'd love to play around with that thing, but I would not love to lose the cargo rack because I use that to go to the gym and I don't want to carry a backpack if I don't have to. It's also quite a bit more expensive than the Kommoda. So if I were using my own money on this, I would probably buy the Maxxis if it's still on sale. If it's not, it's probably a toss-up between the Kommoda and the Bandit. Now, all in all, I have to say I'm very happy with this bike. The build quality is fantastic. The price seems reasonable. I had no issues, no complaints, but since I am not forbidden from saying something bad about the bike, I really looked over this thing to think, is there anything about this bike that I don't like that I could pass on to you guys? And the only thing I came up with, the front headlight. To me, it's a little bit too focused. I wish it was a little bit more like a floodlight. I've got a little mini bike track in my backyard, and when I was riding around on it at night, it was a little bit hard to see. I think that the light is set up perfectly if you were cruising on the street because you could see a farther distance and cars could see you better, but if you're doing trail riding at night, it definitely could use a floodlight. But hey, if that's my only complaint, that is not bad. So if you guys have any questions at all about this bike, go ahead and leave a comment below and I will try my best to answer it. Otherwise, thanks for watching and good luck picking a bike out of your own.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.